Dr. OZ. I am here to reveal to you the best kept practical secret ever. And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. John 8:32. I will be the first one to tell you the truth about the personal ether collectors, and I will teach you how to build your own personal ether collector, PEC. Share this video before it's been deleted and banned. When you have your PEC device ready and tested, you will start experiencing things you never thought exist. What is ether? It is a very rarefied and highly elastic substance that permeates all space, including the interstices between the particles of matter, and to be the medium whose vibrations constituted light and other electromagnetic radiation. Scientists such as John World Keely, Nikola Tesla, Victor Schauberger, Wilhelm Reich, and others have shown that etheric energy, although invisible to most, is very real. Etheric energy moves in a vortex fashion because the vortex provides least resistance to the flowing motion. It follows that physical matter, which is materialized etheric energy, seeks the same low resistance motion, and water and air have this intrinsic vortex motion. Our blood and the sap of plants move in this way too. The activity of our brain is dependent on the density of the ethereal environment. Ethereal density is a hidden determinant of a general life force, a critical factor that supports biological life and energy exchange. Ethereal density directly affects all forms of life and largely responsible for what is being called happiness, health, and longevity. Brain power and creativity, and even what we call genius, are the products of a more dense ethereal concentration. But I am not here to lecture you on ether. I will let you and others do that. I am here to teach you how to gather the ether and how to turn this endless creative force towards you. That's right, the greatest secret that has been ever kept from you is about to be revealed to you. More, you might already have a device or needed components that will function as PEC. I will show you how to perfect it and finally put it to use. In this video I will give you simple and complete instruction on how to make and efficiently use your very own PEC at home. But let me first remind you that what I, Dr. OZ, will be sharing with you is the best kept practical secret. While there are many secrets all around us, this one is the most practical and radical. It allows you to gradually build up the density of your ethereal substance. In a way, the density of your ethereal substance determines the density, the vividness, the radiating power of your soul, your inner being. It makes you stronger, happier, smarter. In fact, it turns you into even a better looking person. Have you noticed that as you visit some places you suddenly, without any rational cause, experience a feeling of overwhelming happiness? Don't you know of places and times where you couldn't breathe enough of that air as it energized you, awakened you, filled you up? That's the ether. You don't see it, but you nearly smell it. And it's not just your imagination, as same places cause generally same effect on most people. Those are the places of high levels of energy concentration, the high density of ether. There are places on Earth that for whatever reasons have particularly high level on ethereal density. Those places continuously attract people. I will show you what are those places like, and what do they have in common, and how to find those. I will also teach you how to build your personal ether charger. It is very simple. There are only very few rules, of which I will warn you. But the rules you'd better follow, as breaking those might cause some unhappy consequences. Now, let me start with a quick review of the PEC's history. I am not the one who invented the personal ether collector. It's been invented or introduced somewhere at the very beginning of the human history. Both the giant Egyptian pyramids and the domes of the medieval European cathedrals served to the single ape to receive ethereal energy, and then to transmit it to some personalized receivers similar to the ones we are going to build with you today. So, before we start assembling our devices, we'll look into their history. It will be a very practical lesson, as the effectiveness of your device would largely depend on the proper use of the device. So, a little bit of history is helpful to us as it provides the needed insights. And first lesson that we are going to learn is that the effectiveness of your device, if rightly built, will greatly depend on the proximity of the transmitter. We can't build a device that would efficiently work on its own receiving capacity and at any place. It needs an amplifier in a nearby proximity. Ethereal energy is another type of radiomagnetic type that requires an antenna and an amplifier. In theory, every high object, every tall structure, could serve both as an antenna and an amplifier that would significantly boost the effectiveness of your device. Many great structures, recognizable around the world, were built with a primary purpose to serve as antennas and transmitters. Many scholars have long since arrived to this understanding. However, they still have no idea how much the ethereal energy absorbed and transmitted by a large human-made structure has been used, how the great flow of energy was used, how it's been individually served. In other words, what's been a practical use of that energy? My answer is personal ethereal collector. The energy found in the proximity of the large human-made structures, particularly designed for receiving and transmitting the ethereal energy, has been individually applied to those having their PEC. What are those PEC? How they have been used? I will tell you about it. But first, another word of warning: some human-made structures could also be transmitting ethereal energy in destructive, if not destructive way. Beware, as your device will amplify that powerful impulse. Skyscrapers and other tall edifices, created by humanity, reflect on the ancient Tower of Babylon. There is much confusion, negativity, pride, stress, and envy around those people who inhabit the buildings or work there. Together with the building, serve as a mighty receiver of either positive or more often negative ethereal filtration. In close proximity of those edifices, a device that you will be able to assemble might potentially cause you to suffer the negative energies that have been transmitted out of those edifices. I will come back to this as we work on assembling our PEC devices. So, let me tell you a few things about how the enlightened people were historically using PEC devices and how they were wearing those. We can go into the far or near history, and everywhere we will find a rather narrow group of enlightened people who were not only aware of PEC, but were using those in their daily routine. Now, before we move any further, I have to tell you about the only way at least known to me of individual applications of the ethereal energy. While staying within the reach of the powerful transmitter, such as a pyramid, or a cathedra, or a mountain, or even a tree, is rather beneficial for all the living cells, as it's been long since noticed, the much greater benefit is found in channeling much greater amount of energy to a specific individual. For this aim, one would need, apart from the powerful transmitter, two things. First, the gate that would efficiently conduct the energy into the biological entity, human being, that's capable of absorbing and accumulating this energy. And second, a device capable of linking an individual receiver to the transmitter. As I promised, I'll teach you how to assemble such a receiver. But first I will say a few words about the gates that we are going to use. The main energy exchange gates of men and women are located just above their heads. These gates are usually invisible, and only on rare occasions, when the energy is overflowing the person, the gates could be seen. They are called nimbus. Dictionary defines nimbus is a shining cloud sometimes surrounding a deity when on earth. Moses had nimbus above his head after he came from the mountain where he met with God. The light that his nimbus radiated was so bright that Moses had to cover his face. Whether or not people would see saints with their nimbuses, the people generally knew that the saints, the miracle workers, do have this energy cloud above their heads. Some people are more sensitive and observant and they could see it. Others would only see nimbus on very special occasions or on pictures and frescoes. The area above and somehow around our heads is designated as the open gates for high energy exchange. The saints don't need any special device to be filled with etheric energy. They had other, what we call supernatural ways of receiving it directly from God. Yet, this energy anointing would still fall on their heads, as it is this area that has been designated for this purpose. The second chapter of the Acts of the Apostles in the Bible starts with the apostles receiving their power. When the day of Pentecost had fully come, they were all with one accord in one place. And suddenly there came a sound from heaven, as of a rushing mighty wind, and it filled the whole house where they were sitting. Then there appeared to them divided tongues, as of fire, and one sat upon each of them. I am not saying that anyone could receive same power by means of some devices, as what the apostles received was the power of the Holy Spirit. But certain amounts of the ethereal power is available to all of us. However, unless you've been an accomplished saint, you would need an external device to collect ether. And people were using those devices for centuries and millennials. So, let us talk of those devices. When you have your device assembled, most likely you would want your device to be made invisible. It is impossible, but it is possible to hide your device well. And certainly, you are not the first one to deal with this. With few exceptions historically, the usage of the PEC devices has always been concealed. It's been done for a variety of reasons. Let me introduce you very briefly to the age-long, concealed usage of different PEC devices. The most important and traditional PEC device is known to all, but been known and been used as PEC by very few. It is a crown. Traditional royal crown or papal tiara are the two ultimate PEC devices. Casted out of the pure and noble metals, those tiaras served as the most efficient PEC devices, especially if worn near or within the domes of the royal palaces or the cathedral's domes. The crown is more than a symbol of the most privileged position of its owner. It also designates him or her as a person privileged to enjoy the benefits of the high ethereal density. Whether this privilege has been used for good or for evil purposes, this is an altogether different question. Not all of the rulers have taken advantage of their crown's concealed powers. Perhaps not all even have been informed about those. But those who did take an advantage of their exclusive royal privileges, those are the people that have shaped the human history. No wonder that the kings at all times were pushing for more tall edifices, for more domed cathedrals. They needed their crowns to be mobile and working outside of the royal or papal palaces. While the king, or the tsar, or the pope, as the supreme leaders, were entitled to wearing the crowns openly, other social classes were not allowed to wear any semblance to a crown, or a tiara. That would be classified as a treason, and punished most severely. However, some exceptions were made for the members of the royal family, as well as for the people of the royal court. Smaller-sized golden diadems were allowed to them on exceptional terms. Some British lords, Russian warriors, French nobles were also allowed to wear some diadem, sharpened PEC devices. But those were to be well hidden, concealed from others. But how can you conceal something that you only can wear above your head? The answer is in the hilarious size and shape of the hats and wigs people were wearing. Not all of those wearing the high hats and wigs were wearing PEC devices. Most people wearing those hats and wigs had no idea that this fashion has been designed for the few, who are by far more privileged than others. The 20th century, ruthless and rational as it was, has witnessed and even greatly explored the arrival of a new type of the PEC device, a military helmet. Prior to the 20th century, the iron-cast helmets have been already used by the knights, the lesser European nobility. As a base, metal iron serves as a decent receiver, but it converts the pure energy of the ether into a certain format. To inform you on the essentials of different PEC devices, I'll again turn to history. That will hopefully help you to design and to make PEC that is suitable for you. So, the rule number 1 for every PEC device is that the device should be made out of metal in order to serve as a receiver and as a transmitter of the ether flow. No other material, natural or synthetic, is fit for this purpose. However, different metals receive and translate ethereal energy differently. This is not a new knowledge. To illustrate, let us turn to one of the most ancient and mysterious stories recorded in the Bible. In the book of Prophet Daniel, we read about the vision that God has given to the king Nebuchadnezzar to reveal the future. The choice of a metal signifying each subsequent kingdom reveals the truth character of those kingdoms as well as gives a truthful insight into the qualities of those metals. In Daniel 2:32-33 we read, "This image's head was of fine gold, its chest and arms of silver, its belly and thighs of bronze, its legs of iron, its feet partly of iron and partly of clay." Prophet Daniel will later on be given additional visions that would identify the kingdoms represented by those metals as well as their essential characteristics. Gold represented the kingdom of Nebuchadnezzar, the very king that first received this vision. Nebuchadnezzar's kingdom has been given to him by God, and God bestowed some special blessings upon both the kingdom and its king. The king has been an anointed, implored ruler. Golden head of the statue vision represents this kingdom and reflects on its qualities, which are by far superior to the qualities of the kingdoms and the metals that represent them that were coming after the gold. Silver represents another divinely appointed kingdom, the kingdom of the kings, from the east, the Medo-Persians, and their anointed, chosen, implored and blessed by God, King Cyrus, of whom the prophet Isaiah writes a lot. Thus, silver represents the qualities that are also good, divinely granted, pleasant to men and God. This means that both gold and silver, those noble metals, are capable of transmitting the ethereal energy in its purest, undisturbed form. Indeed, both gold and silver are known for their electromagnetic superconductivity and are used in electronics and conductors. Gold is a remarkable metal with an unparalleled combination of chemical and physical properties. Gold is the most non-reactive of all metals. It is called a noble metal, an alchemistic term, because it does not oxidize under ordinary conditions, meaning that it will never rust and never tarnish. As the gold does not react to the air, to the water, and to most other chemical components, it's been used in catalysis of chemical reactions. It facilitates and strengthens multiple chemical reactions, yet gold does not react with chemical agents and don't diminish. Silver is in many ways like gold. It exhibits the highest electrical conductivity, thermal conductivity, and reflectivity of any metal. Different silver compounds are used as disinfectants and microbiocides. Pure silver has the highest thermal conductivity of any metal. During World War I, in the US, 13540 tons of silver were used in electromagnets for enriching uranium. Silver also has been used in catalysis of chemical reactions. Gold and silver may be alloyed with various other metals to give it special properties. Copper or bronze alloy mix comparable in qualities with copper is similar in its physical and chemical properties to its two neighbors in group 11 of the periodic table, silver and gold. Copper is a great conductor of heat and electricity, that is why copper is the material we use when making electrical wires. It also has a rather high corrosion resistance, catalytic and non-magnetic properties, although in a lesser degree than gold and silver. In the prophetic chart of the Bible, the qualities of the copper are compared with the humanistic achievements of the Greek Empire, the parental civilization of the Western society. Finally, the prophetic chart refers to the latest human societies, of which we've been a part of, as the legs and feet of iron. Iron is best known as the strong metal that gave us weapons and tools. Iron is the most frequently encountered metal in daily life. Iron is strong, tough, and cheap. Yet, it easily reacts to the air and other chemical substances, easily corrodes. But most importantly, it has powerful magnetic property. The magnetism of the iron group of metals is a rare and remarkable property. It is not due to any inherent magnetic propensities of the atoms, but to the structure of the metal. That sets iron apart from gold, silver and copper, or bronze. Iron and a variety of its alloyed metallic mixes, as all metals, attract ethereal flow, although to a significantly lesser degree than gold and silver, but this flow gets strongly distorted by other forces, electromagnetism, that iron attracts. Iron is a powerful, yet rude and primitive, conductor that pumps up magnetic forces in a forceful, violent way. While iron is capable of transmitting a flow of ethereal energy, its flow gets badly disturbed by the electromagnetic forces. Thus, the benefits of the ethereal energy are nearly nullified, while the magnetic forces distort body's biological field and disrupts the brain waves in an abrupt and violent way. The effect of the metallic PEC on mind and body is similar to that of the heavy metal music. It suppresses fear due to general reduction of critical and intellectual capacities of one's brain, and cultivates violent and aggressive behavior, the qualities indispensable for the biological war machine. The wide use of the metallic helmets in the 20th century military conflicts is due not only to the physical protection those provide, but also to a cultivation of the mindset suitable for making of a universal soldier. Cultic use of metallic helmets by different cultural sects, such as Harley-Davidson, has proven that the systematic use of metallic PEC, in this case a motorcyclist's helmet, results in formation of a rather homogeneous group of people with somehow similar personality that could be even observed externally. The impact of the concealed metallic PEC devices is much greater in the big cities, where the tall buildings serve as the antennas and the transmitters of the ethereal energy. In the countryside, the effect of the metallic PEC helmets is of a much smaller proportion. My message should be clear enough. Avoid the usage of vulgar metals such as iron and mixed cast iron and aluminum for your PEC. The regular use of those vulgar components, especially in an urban settings, could cause severe brain damage and could make one to behave in a violent way. How about a copper, or a brass, or a bronze PEC? Unless you live in the woods, with some tall trees all around you, and don't mind a giant device like an old-fashioned TV antenna connected to your head, you'd probably dismiss a copper or a bronze PEC device either. A copper device would be still efficient in the proximity of the Great Pyramids. But a trip to and around Egypt with a huge bronze antenna on your head may not be such a great idea. Thus, we are essentially limited to only two choices, silver or gold. A silver PEC is the most practical solution for most of my viewers. Also, especially in case you live in the city with some tall buildings in a close proximity, a silver-made PEC is much safer to use than the golden device due to the potentially disruptive power of the existing transmitters. Silver, in generous amounts, is capable of catching almost the same volume of the transmitted ethereal energy as a compact golden PEC. Silver PEC works particularly good at the foot of a mountain or by the tall, preferably old trees. Silver PEC is a great beginner's option, as safety is not a joke when it comes to PEC use. Silver PEC could and probably should be first used at its lowest receptive operational mode. It is easy to achieve, and I'll show you how to gradually increase the power of your silver PEC. Golden PEC in theory is the best option, but it also has some drawbacks. It is definitely not to be used in large cities, as the transmitted ethereal energy has a potential of overwhelming one's will and hurting one's biological processes. The energy in the kick it gives might overexcite a person and drain one out of one's defensive resources. A golden PEC is not for the beginners, certainly. Golden PEC is most efficient inside and outside of the domed cathedrals. Cathedrals securely shelter its insides from disrupted ethereal flow coming from other outstanding objects. Also, it works as a powerful antenna and no less powerful transmitter of mostly pure and undisturbed ethereal energy. Just make sure that the cathedral's roof is not made out of iron. In fact, inside some cathedrals PEC are working so efficiently that in order to reduce their efficiency the rule was passed that no man could enter a cathedral with his hat on. The privilege of basking in the streams of energy inside the domed structures has been limited to kings and church prelates. Yet, outside of the cathedrals PEC is still working well, especially within 50 meters or less from the cathedral. Since not too many people are privileged to live in a city of the great cathedrals, the best option for those wearing both silver and golden PEC would be a trip to the woods or to the mountains. Also, a close proximity to a lake, a sea, or an ocean would be a great place for collecting ethereal energy. Large bodies of water, while located rather low, seem to attract large quantities of ethereal water, the one from above the firmament. Golden PEC, due to its compact size, could be even disguised under sombrero cap. Now, we arrived to the most important part of my presentation. I will teach you how to make your own PEC device. I will first show you how to make a PEC device out of silver, and then I'll show you how to make it out of gold if found in sufficient amounts. Make sure you don't miss this presentation.